Hello, first graders, and welcome back to another read aloud of Zombies Don't Play Soccer from the Bailey School Kids. Last time we read chapters 5 and 6, where Melody came up with the theory that Coach Graves is a zombie, and everyone thought, Melody, that's crazy talk. Zombies aren't real. And Melody was like, yeah, well, Eddie's pretty brave, so he'll go test it. And he did. And Melody said if Coach Graves is in fact a zombie, she won't look you in the eye. And Eddie said, fine, I'm going to go look her in the eye. And lo and behold, Coach Graves would not look Eddie in the eye. She kept looking away. So now everyone is convinced that she is a zombie. And we're going to read a little bit more in chapter 7 and 8 today. Chapter 7 is called Danger. Eddie leaned against the rough bark of the giant oak tree and gulped air. His three friends were right beside him. Eddie, I thought you didn't believe in zombies, Melody panted. I've never seen you run so fast. Eliza stumbled to the ground and took giant breaths. I don't know why we were running. Didn't you see the way Coach Graves was coming after Eddie? Melody shrieked. She wasn't after Eddie, Howie interrupted, pointing across the playground. She was just reaching for the ball. Sure enough, Coach Graves bent down to get the ball. Then she turned and plodded across the field, heading towards Forest Lane. She hadn't gone far when the old woman stepped from the shadows of a scraggly crabapple tree. I bet she's giving Coach Graves an order, Melody whispered. Howie shook his head. You have no proof that Coach Graves is a zombie. Howie's right, Liza agreed. You shouldn't be saying such horrible things about that old lady, even if she is scary looking. Maybe she's Coach Graves' grandmother. But what if she did turn the coach into a zombie? Eddie asked. We could all be in danger. I bet zombies kill people just for the fun of it. Melody shook her head so hard that her pigtails slapped her in the nose. Zombies aren't dangerous unless you make them mad. Then Eddie's in big trouble, Liza giggled. He makes everybody mad. Eddie's face turned bright red. I do not. Besides, I'm not afraid of any zombie. Good, Melody said. Then you won't be afraid to follow her home. What? Liza, Howie, and Eddie said all at once. Melody took a deep breath. We have to find out for sure if Coach Graves is a zombie, she told her friends. The whole city's safety may depend on it. And here's the picture of them running back towards the oak tree and being all out of breath. That was a pretty quick chapter. But now we know that Eddie, he's pretty tough. I bet he will follow her home. But we're gonna read more now in chapter 8, which is called Cemetery. This place is creepy, Liza complained. Shh, Melody hissed. She'll hear you. The four friends had followed Coach Graves all the way past the Bailey City Cemetery to a tiny house. They were hiding in a huge pile of wood, watching the new coach dig a hole. Coach Graves slowly shoveled out a pile of dirt and tossed it over her shoulder. The dirt mound grew bigger and bigger. What's she doing anyway? Eddie asked. I don't know, but my mom is going to be mad, Howie said. I should have been home an hour ago. Melody dropped her backpack onto the ground and sat on it. I can't help it if Coach Graves walks slow. Slow, Eddie said. A snail is slow. The coach is a zombie, Melody said. Look. The four kids watched as their coach threw the soccer ball into the hole that she just dug. Without a sound, she walked off. She threw away the team ball, Howie said. Why would she do that? Liza asked. She loves soccer. Melody stood up to watch Coach Graves walk away. That witchy woman didn't want the coach to stay in Bailey City to help us with soccer. I bet she ordered Coach Graves to throw away our soccer ball. She's doing what the old woman told her. I don't care about that old woman, Eddie said, but I do care about the team ball. I'm going to get it. And here's a picture of Coach Graves up on the hill with the team ball. And here are the kids down there looking at her. Now Eddie's going to go get the ball. Are you crazy? Liza squealed. Do you know what that hole is? Eddie shook his head and hopped over the pile of wood. It's a grave, Howie said slowly. It makes sense. Coach Graves was digging a grave. Eddie gulped and looked into the deep hole. Howie was right. It was just the right size for a coffin. Eddie looked at his friends, then back at the hole again. He didn't want them to think he was afraid, but he didn't really want to jump into a grave. He shuddered. "Don't do it," Liza whimpered. Eddie stood at the edge of the deep hole. "Don't be silly," he told them. He sounded braver than he felt. "It's just a hole." Eddie took a deep breath and closed his eyes. Then he jumped. He landed right beside the soccer ball. "I've got it," Eddie said, quickly scooping up the ball. Then he reached up to pull himself out of the grave. "Oh no," Eddie shouted. "It's too deep. I can't get out." Liza looked like she was about to faint, but Melody jumped over the woodpile and stuck her hand down inside the hole. "Come on, I'll help you," she said. Eddie stretched and tried to reach Melody's hand. "Hurry," Howie squealed. "Coach Graves is coming back." And that is where Chapter 8 stops. On Monday, we are going to start with Chapter 9, which is Breaking the Spell. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I hope some nice warm weather is coming our way so that we can enjoy some relaxing time outside. All right, I'll see you later.